All right, solving these things here is actually not complicated. You start by saying here is equals to the square root of 9 times 2 is 18 plus square root of 2 times 25 is 50 minus square root of 4 times 2. What it becomes is the square root of 9 times the square root of 2 plus the square root of 2 times the square root of 25. Right, or you can write it the other way around, just sort of the square root of 25 times the square root of 2 minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 2, which is equal, the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 2, we're going to put the square root of 2, plus the square root of 25 is going to be 5, plus the square root of 2, minus the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Right? So everything is to the square is having a square root of 2. So square root of 2 is going to make everything to become the common factor. So in this case, it's going to be 3 square root 2 plus 5 square root 2 minus 2 square root 2, which is going to be 8 square root 2 minus 2 square root 2 is equals to 6 square root 2. That is the answer. Because the square root of 2 makes all of these ones to be common, to be like terms, not to be common whatnot, to be like terms. So you can add them, you can minus them. So this is the solution to the first one. All right, here we go again. The square root of 132 divided by the square root of 3. Again, we're going to try and find the solution to this one. Right, we say 132. What are the factors of 132? Right, when you are looking for the factors, you want to find the factors that usually would be easy to find the square root of them. So you say this one here is 4 times 3 times 11 makes 132, all divided by the square root of 3. Again, it's going to be the square root of 4 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 11, all divided by the square root of 3. If you can see, the square root of 3 and the square root of 3 are going to cancel. So we're going to have the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 11, all divided by nothing, because we already cancel. And then you say, what is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is going to be 2. The square root of 11, we can leave it like that. And that is your answer. It has been. All right. Square root of 48 minus the square root of 3 divided by the square root of 27. Again, we're going to look for the factors of 48. The factors of 48 is 16 times 3 minus square root of 3, all divided by square root of 27, which is 9 times 3, which means at the top we're going to have square root of 16 times square root of 3 minus square root of 3, all divided by the square root of 9 times the square root of 3. What we have is the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 3, we're going to put it exactly, minus the square root of 3, all divided, square root of 9 is 3, square root of 3 is square root of 3. Since we know now that the square root of 3 are makes them the like terms. It's just like at the top, 4x minus x all divided by 3x, which means the x is in this case the square root of 3. It makes them all to become like terms. So you can just add them or subtract them like you would normally do anything. So it becomes square root becomes 3 square root of 3 divided by 3 square root of 3. Any number divided by itself becomes 1. That is the solution. Alright, we have a square root of 5 minus the square root of 3, all in brackets, multiplied by the square root of 5 plus the square root of 3. This in general is the difference of two squares, but since we might not have reached at that level, we're going to solve it. So here we're going to use the FOIL method, which is this multiply that, and then this multiply this, and then that multiply this. Okay, so this is how we're going to start with this, right? We're going to use the FOIL method. So we're going to say the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is going to be the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. The square root of 5 times the square root of 3 plus the square root of 5 times the square root of 3. And then this minus the square root of 5 times the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. This becomes square root of 5 is going to be 5 times 5 plus square root of this is going to be square root of 5 times 3 minus square root of 5 is going to be 5 times 3 minus this is going to be the square root of 3 times 3. This becomes the square root of 25, 5 times 5. This becomes the square root of 15, 5 times 3, minus this one becomes, this is a 5, a square root of 15, 5 times 3, minus the square root of 3 times 3 is 9, which is equals to, the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 15 minus square root of 15 is going to be 0. Anything minus by itself. The square root of 9 is going to be negative because there's a minus here already. Minus square root of 9 is 3, which is going to be equals to 5 minus 3 is 2. That is the solution. All right. We have the square root 2 times the square root of 150 minus the square root of 24, all divided by the square root of 12. The instruction here is to simplify. Nothing more. All right. Again, as usual, we're going to say 2 times the square root of 150. 150 becomes what? Becomes 3 times 50, which is equals to 3 times 2 times 25 is 150, minus the square root of 24 is going to be equals to 2 times, let's go with the 4 times 3 times 2. 4 times 2, yeah, all divided by the square root of 12, which is going to be 4 times 3. All right, is equals to 2 times square root of 3 times square root of 2 times square root of 25 minus square root of 4 times square root of 3 times square root of 2, all divided by square root of 4 times square root of 3. Alright, what this becomes is 2 times square root of 3 times square root of 2 times square root of 25 is 5. So it's going to be multiplied by 5. Multiply 5. Right? Minus bracket square root of 2. Square root of 2 is going to be, square root of 4 is going to be 2 times square root of 3 times square root of 2, all divided by square root of 4 is 2, square root of 3 is going to be square root of 3, is equals to 2 times 5 is 10, square root of 3 times square root of 2 minus 2 times square root of 3 times square root of 2, all divided by 2 times square root of 3, right, is equals to 10 minus 2, because this is making it like terms. Is making it like terms. These two, they become like terms, right? They are like terms. This is a 2 and this is a square root. All right, so you say 10 minus 2 is going to be 8 square root of 3 times square root of 2, all divided by 2 square root of 3, is equals to 8 divided by 2 is 4. Square root of 3 and square root of 3, they cancel, and you are left with square root of 2. The answer is 4 square root of 2. All right, we have 16 cubed root minus the 54 cube root, all divided by 2 cube root. All right, the cube root simply means if something is raised, the square root means, for instance, the square root of 4 simply means that 2 squared is 4. Cube root of this, it simply means there is a 2 here, the square root, there is a 2 here. It just means these two cancel that 2, right? So a cube root is the one where there is a 3 here. So a cube root is the one where there is a 3 here. A square root is the one where, even though they didn't write the 2, there is a 2 here in the square root. So if inside here is something that is raised to the power 3, this becomes x, because this 3 and that 3, they cancel. So inside here, if we were to have x to squared, this would become x. The square root of x squared is x, right? Because this, even though it's not here, it's invisible, it cancels that 2, it becomes just this one. So this is what we are dealing with now, the cube root. It is not removing a 2 now, it is removing a 3. So when we start, we say cube root of 16 is going to be the cube root of 8 times 2, because 8 times 2 is 16, minus the cube root of 54. 54 is 27 times 2, right? All divided, whoa, made a mistake there. All divided by, wait a minute, all divided by the cube root of 2 is equals to, just like before, the square root of 8 times 2 is going to be the square root of 8 times the square root of 2. Clear, straightforward. In this case, it's going to be the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 2 minus the cube root of 27 times the cube root of 2, all divided by the cube root of 2, right? The cube root of 8, not now, is going to be equals to 2. Why is it 2? Is because cube root of 8 is equals to 2 to the power 3, right? 2 to the power 3. 2 times 2 times 2 3 times 1, 2, 3. 3 times is equals to 8. That's what the cube root means. So remember, as we said, the cube root of x cubed is equals to x. The square root of x squared is equals to x. Meaning whatever we have here cancels the one inside there. In this case, we're going to have, right, the cube root of 2 to the cube to the 3 is going to cancel this, and this is going to be equals to 2. So the cube root of 8 is going to be equals to 2 times the cube root of 2 minus cube root of 27. 3 times 3 times 3 is equals to 27, which means 27 is equals to 3 to 3. Same logic. We come back, we say 3 cube root of 3 to 3 is going to be equals to 3. So 27 cube root is going to be 3 cube root of 2, all divided by cube root of 2. We say 2 minus 3 is a negative 1, is a minus. The common, the thing that is making them like terms, which is cube root of 2, is divided by cube root of 2 is equals to negative 1. Should ask if you don't understand, we explain it further.